NASCAR, 2311, and Front Row Motorsports, obviously 2311 co-owned by Michael Jordan and driver Denny Hamlin, have settled in court in the middle of a trial that had been dragging on for the better part of 2 weeks, had looked to be going well into a third week next week here in a federal courthouse.
The courtroom saga that had NASCAR on the edge of a legal and structural reckoning has ended in an explosive fashion. Michael Jordan, alongside Denny Hamlin and their 23XI racing team, secured a game-changing settlement against NASCAR in an antitrust lawsuit that may reshape the sport's financial and operational future. And while many in the industry are breathing a sigh of relief, there are more than 40 million reasons for team owners to thank Jordan. It all started when 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports filed a $365 million antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR in October 2024, accusing the organization of monopolistic practices and financial suppression. The claims centered on the charter system, NASCAR's structure for allocating race team spots, which the plaintiffs argued devalued teams and centralized power in the hands of the France family-led sanctioning body. The lawsuit pointed to an uneven playing field and a lack of permanence and predictability that undermined team investments. The legal battle dragged on for over a year and reached its boiling point during a dramatic trial in a North Carolina courtroom. With Jordan and Hamlin present nearly every day, the case had already begun making waves well beyond the racing community. Jordan's presence alone brought a spotlight few legal cases in sports history have ever known. The trial had reached day 9 when, in a stunning move, a settlement was announced, just before NASCAR had even presented its defense. The agreement didn't just end the trial, it sparked a seismic shift. One of the most critical elements of the settlement was the approval of permanent evergreen charters. Prior to the deal, NASCAR charters were temporary, requiring renewals and creating uncertainty for teams. That lack of permanence had made long-term planning and sponsorship negotiations exceedingly difficult. With the introduction of evergreen charters, teams now hold their spots in perpetuity, greatly increasing their value and making the business model more stable. According to multiple executives contacted by Sports Business Journal, charter values could now double, going from an estimated $45 million to upwards of $90 million. This sharp increase directly results from Jordan and Hamlin's legal push and the terms won in the settlement. In effect, the lawsuit elevated not just 23XI and Front Row, but the entire field. Team investors were quick to acknowledge the positive ripple effects. The permanence of charters offers a more attractive framework for corporate sponsors, who previously hesitated to engage in long-term commitments due to uncertainty. A stable environment allows for deeper partnerships and more robust marketing efforts. When Jordan and Hamlin walked out of court on settlement day, they were smiling, and for good reason. They had challenged the sport's authority and emerged with a victory that reshaped its foundations. The win wasn't just financial, it was philosophical. It validated the concerns that smaller and mid-sized teams had voiced for years about the inequity of NASCAR's structure. The legal momentum built by Jordan and Hamlin forced NASCAR to acknowledge systemic issues. While no admission of wrongdoing accompanied the settlement, the outcome speaks volumes. The fact that NASCAR agreed to such sweeping changes before mounting its defense indicates the strength of the case and the credibility of the plaintiffs. Michael Jordan's role was central to the lawsuit's impact. As a globally recognized figure and a billionaire entrepreneur, Jordan brought legitimacy and media attention that other plaintiffs simply couldn't. His testimony in court was deeply personal, reflecting a genuine passion for the sport that dates back to his childhood. He emphasized that the lawsuit was not about ego or profit, but about fairness. Jordan compared NASCAR's structure to that of the NBA, where revenue sharing and collective responsibility help maintain balance. He argued that the racing model needed similar principles to thrive in the modern era. For many, including NASCAR veteran Kenny Wallace, Jordan's points were not only well-founded but overdue. Kenny Wallace, who has been vocal throughout the antitrust saga, praised Jordan's sincerity. He believed NASCAR's legal team treated Jordan differently, refraining from the aggressive cross-examinations used against other team owners like Denny Hamlin and Bob Jenkins. Wallace said, "NASCAR knew better than to aim its fire at one of the most respected athletes on the planet." Wallace noted that Jordan's role is unique. Unlike traditional team owners such as Rick Hendrick and Roger Penske, who made fortunes outside of racing, Jordan is an independent figure using his own wealth and influence to push for structural reform. Wallace rephrased Jordan's sentiment as, "When NASCAR does good, the team should do good." He added, "So, what EMJ said was heartfelt. It wasn't bad. Jordan's credibility helped shift the narrative. His involvement turned what might have been dismissed as a business squabble into a high-stakes battle for the soul of the sport." The image of Jordan standing up against the NASCAR establishment resonated not only with fans but with those within the garage who felt voiceless. The financial implications are already reverberating. With charter values potentially doubling, team owners are sitting on significantly more valuable assets. This change could attract new investors and teams to the sport, further expanding its reach. Additionally, the long-term stability provided by evergreen charters allows for better financial planning and more investment in talent development, technology, and infrastructure. At the same time, the emotional and symbolic stakes of this settlement are perhaps just as important. NASCAR has long been governed by the France family, often criticized for its top-down approach. This lawsuit forced the organization to meet its critics halfway, a rare occurrence in a sport where tradition often trumps transformation. While the courtroom drama played out, Denny Hamlin was dealing with his own personal and professional battles. Despite coming agonizingly close to winning the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series championship, he fell short again. But when asked recently about the most painful moment in his racing career, Hamlin didn't point to Phoenix 2025. He went further back to the 2010 finale at Homestead Miami Speedway. Hamlin recalled, "It's definitely the one race that I would take back in the sense of like, I took myself too seriously in that moment. Back then, he was a rising star at Joe Gibbs Racing, head-to-head with Jimmy Johnson, already a 5-time champion." Hamlin believed he had the better car and the better chance, but instead of trusting his instincts, he changed his routine. "I need to lock myself in my hotel room and I need to concentrate on this and look at that," he said, recounting his mindset at the time. The pressure got to him. "I didn't race loose, and instead I raced tight, and I made too many mistakes, and he won the title. I just let the pressure of this situation in the moment get to me." The haunting memory of that race has followed Hamlin for over a decade. It's the race that shaped his approach to every championship run since, and even though he's had other chances, none have cut as deep as 2010. Hamlin said he felt he handed Johnson the title, and that realization made the loss even more painful. This context paints an even clearer picture of what was at stake in the lawsuit. For Hamlin, it wasn't just about team finances, it was about preserving the sport he's devoted his life to. The legal battle with NASCAR was, in a sense, another championship moment, a chance to fight not on the track, but in the system that supports it. Now, with the trial behind them and the settlement in hand, Hamlin and Jordan can claim a different kind of victory. It may not come with a trophy, but it has the potential to redefine the structure of the sport and empower future generations of teams and drivers. The broader NASCAR community is now left to navigate a post-settlement landscape. Some, like Rick Hendrick, have already voiced support for the changes, while others are cautiously optimistic, yet all agree on one thing. The legal standoff between 23XI, Front Row, and NASCAR was a turning point. Michael Jordan may not have grown up in the NASCAR garage, but his influence just changed the sport forever. As his and Hamlin's victory continues to ripple through every corner of the industry, there's no doubt Michael Jordan just took NASCAR for $40 million and handed it right back to the teams who needed it most.